What's up guys, Skittlerampage here. So today we have the long-awaited top 10 Naruto Funko Pops of 2021. So let's check it out. Alright guys, top 10 Naruto Funko Pops of 2021. So I asked you guys on Instagram and I did a couple polls on my community tab here on YouTube between different characters just to kind of get a gauge of what you guys were mostly liking in terms of characters and details and things like that. And there was about 100 comments over on Instagram, so it made it a little easier to gauge kind of like what was the most popular and things like that. Unfortunately, I decided last minute to not do it by popularity, because last time I did it by popularity, and if I do it by popularity, then this list is just going to be full of Uchihas and Naruto, and that's pretty much it. So, I don't want it just to be a bunch of Naruto and Sasuke's and Modera and Itachi and Kakashi's, essentially. So, what I decided to go by was best detail, like literally the best Funko Pops in detail of the actual wave. So, throughout this video, you may disagree, you may agree. Comment down below what you guys do disagree with and why, and what you agree with and why. I'd love to hear you guys. As well as that, guys, I would love for you to comment down below your top 10 lists for Naruto of 2021. Alright guys, so let's jump right into the video, and I do want to mention also that we do have a few honorable mentions that we're going to mention at the end of the video after I reveal the number 1 spot for Naruto Pops. Alright guys, so coming in at the number 10 spot, we do have Kaguya here, which is a 2020 Fall Convention exclusive, aka New York Comic Con. So the reason I picked Kaguya is just because, one, she's really detailed, and they did a lot with her hair detail, as well as they did include Zetsu there in her little sleeve with the face, and I thought that was just a really cool factor. In terms of if I did this list with popularity, she probably wouldn't be on the list, because she's definitely not the most popular character in Naruto, and out of all the Naruto Pops currently out to date. But in terms of actual detail, I think they did a really great job with the colors and the, Zetsu the most in the sleeve there, especially her hair, because you don't see them do too many details with the hair like that in terms of Pops, and I thought it was really, really cool what they did with her, and that they even made her to begin with, because she's overly not a popular character, but they still did her really well in terms of detail, and they just captured her actual character very well, I personally think. Coming in at number 9, guys, we do have the Chalice exclusive glow-in-the-dark Pain. So the reason I put Pain at number 9 was just because, one, he's very detailed, but he doesn't really have a lot of detail to put into his actual pop other than the Renegons, the Akatsuki cloak, and the chakra rods that are in his nose. In terms of detail, that's about it. And I picked the glow variant just because the glow adds to it, obviously, but I also gave it some, I also knocked off some points and knocked it lower on the list because Funko literally just, got the glow wrong. They made an orange, not an orange glow, they advertised it as an orange glow, but it was going around with a yellow glow with some of them. I think that was just a production error, no idea how they kind of went with that, as well as they did name it Nagato in the actual Funko app, when his name's clearly, Pain. Obviously, Nagato controls them with his chakra, but in terms of names, his name is Pain. He goes by Pain, not Nagato. So, I knocked off a couple points just because there was a lot of production flaws with this one in particular, but in the most part as well, there's just not a lot of detail to go around with the actual pop just because it's pretty simplistic in terms of detail, really. Because the Akatsuki members just have the Akatsuki robes and then their actual details on their face. But if they did maybe another moment of when he had the robe torn and he had some scratches on his face and some blood and, more involved in the fight with Naruto, maybe if they did another moment, that would have been really cool. But I'm really happy they decided to make Pain instead. In general, I'm glad they made him, but in terms of detail, I just don't think it's all the way there to be deserving of a higher place on this list. And coming in at the number 8 spot, guys, we do have Karama Mode Karama. So I actually took this one down from the shelf. So the reason I put this one at number 8, and in the next one I'll explain why as well, is that in terms of detail as well, it's kind of like Pain. They could have done more with this pop, and in terms of popularity, it's probably one of the most popular popular pops of Naruto, just because it's Glow Karama and everybody loves Karama, and it has a high price point, and it's a glow, and the detail is really cool. But in terms of detail, it's pretty lackluster because it's just a repaint of the actual Karama mold, the regular common one, and with a sticker thrown on. The glow is phenomenal on it, so it deserves to be on this list just because of the glow alone. But you have the black lining as well, which is a really cool detail, but they didn't put the black line detail on the tails, and then there's just so much more. They could have made it look more kind of like fur in terms of like what he has in the actual character. I just feel like it's lacking detail and it could have had more detail, so that's why it is where it is on the list. And coming in at number 7, guys, we do have Minato, but the Minato Glow Chase. So the reason I say the Glow Chase over the common and why he's higher than Karama is because he has literally a really cool glow to him. He has the Rasengan in hand as well as a kunai in hand, which I thought was really neat. I think they did the hair detail really, really well with him, as well as they even put like the red tips glowing in the dark. And in terms of actual detail, I think they captured it more in pop form than they did with Karama. So that is why Minato is actually higher on the list. In reality, they do kind of tie in a little bit in detail, but I thought Minato kind of took it more with the detail that they did with him, and I think they captured it really well. Even the actual regular common as well here that we have, where he's in the action pose getting ready to teleport, I thought that was really cool and detailed as well. And I just felt like Karama was lacking detail. Someone count down below how many times I say detail, because I feel like I'm going to say a lot in this video. But for the most part, guys, I think he deserves to be at the number 7 spot, and I feel like it was a fair placement. Coming in at the number 6 spot, guys, we do have the new Modera Uchiha, and this is the one where he has 2 weapons. So the original GameStop exclusive had his regular weapon, fan weapon, Gunbai, but then they made a new GameStop exclusive like T-Bundle where he has his scythe as well. So I kind of decided to do the scythe one, even though it's not released yet. It releases next month. I decided to include this anyways just because it's so close to releasing, and we've already seen images of it and had enough time to kind of judge, hey, do we like this or do we not? In terms of both Modera Pops, that one is better because it has the scythe. I don't know what the scythe's name is. I tried to look it up, but I couldn't find a name. I just know his weapon is Gunbai. So in terms of detail, though, I think they got Modera down really, really well. They got the cracked, reanimated look down on his face. They have the one Renegon, which looks really cool as well. And even his, armor and the weapon, I just think they added so much detail to him. Could they have done it better? Probably a little better, for sure. Added a little, other smaller details. Gotten him maybe when he was a little battle damaged. That would have been really awesome as well. But for the most part, guys, I think Modera definitely deserved a place on this list because he's a really, really awesome pop, and they did the detail on him incredibly. Coming in at number 5, guys, this one was a really tough choice because I was trying to decide between 2 Kakashis, and I put this up on my community tab of Anbu Kakashi and GameStop exclusive Lightning Blade Kakashi. And why it was such a tough choice is because, one, they both have incredible detail on them, and they're both really, really cool pops just in general. And it came down to number 5 being GameStop Kakashi just because I asked a couple people in my family, I asked my sisters, they don't even watch Naruto. I was like, which one do you think is cooler and has more detail? And they said that the Kakashi Lightning Blade one, because his eye looks really cool, and then he actually has the lightning going around his hand, which in terms, I was more on the Anbu Kakashi side just because I was like, hey, he looks really cool with the mask on the side there, and then he has the really red Sharingan eye, the sword in hand, and he's kind of in action pose, and then he has the Anbu gear on. I thought it looked really cool, personally. However, based off what my sister's reaction was, and you guys as a community over on my community tab and Instagram, the majority said that Kakashi Lightning Blade looked better over Anbu, so I went with the majority decision of, hey, let's go with Kakashi Lightning Blade. I was really conflicted about these. I even asked Bailey, and she actually went with Lightning Blade Kakashi as well. I really like the Anbu one, but I gotta give it to Kakashi Lightning Blade. You guys are right. This is just such a cool pop. Incredible detail on it with him holding it, and it's just really cool, especially since we do have the Hot Topic exclusive Kakashi as well, where it says Lightning Blade, but he's actually doing Chidori in the hand, so they got the name wrong, so I wasn't even gonna include that one in this top 10 list. I put it in the community tab poll, but I knew most people weren't gonna vote for it because it was inaccurate anyways. But it had to take the cake over Anbu Kakashi no matter how cool he is, especially with the lackluster chase of Anbu Kakashi. Just being with the mask on, it wasn't significantly different. But comment down below, which one do you guys think? Anbu or Lightning Blade? I'd love to know. And coming in at number 4, guys, we do have Sasuke Curse Mark, and this is the convention exclusive here. So this one just had to be on the list purely because it's such an awesomely detailed pop. Like, it's truly amazingly detailed. Not the top spot in the list, but it is really cool. They got the yellow eye down, they got the red Sharingan eye down, they got the curse marks all over. I thought it was really cool that they even included the curse marks on his hand, which they didn't have to actually do that detail. They could have left it blank, but they did, and I thought that was cool. cool, as well as Chidori in hand. I think they just did incredible with this pop, and it's really cool. And it happens to be a grail as well, and it happens to be a very popular pop, so it would have been included on either list, either way. But I did want to put him higher on this list purely because he has some crazy detail to him. And taking the number 3 spot, guys, we do have the newest Naruto 6-Path Sage Pop. This one had to appear on this list purely, it's just amazing. It's an absolutely amazing pop. Literally one of the best ones out of all the 6-Path Sage Pops they made. There are 3 other variants, including the glow-in-the-dark one, which we are putting that one as the number 3 spot on this list. I'm just showing you guys the common here. The glow on this is ridiculous. It's the best glow out of all of them, and I love what they did with this pop. They captured so much detail, even the flame looking chakra aura behind him. I think that was really cool, and I think that's something they really could have done with the glow mode Karama, and if they ever do a revamped mold of that, that's something they could do for a 6-inch pop. If they did that, he would have scored higher on this list, Karama. But they didn't, and they kind of just made it look like he was just all yellow when he does have some orange detail to him as well. So I had to knock some points off and put him lower on the list. But for the most part, guys, they did so well with this 6-Path Sage Naruto, and the glow is phenomenal on it, so it definitely had to be in the top 3. And taking the number 2 spot, guys, we have Jiraiya on Toad. This one obviously had to be in the top 3 as well, just because it is one of the most detailed Naruto pops out there, and it was so cool. They didn't just do a traditional Funko Pop, like a 4-inch pop. They decided to make him on the Toad, which was really cool, in an action pose as well. So the Toad Sage, Pervy Sage, on a Toad, all in one, and I thought that was really awesome. They have the detail of the Toad actually really down. They even got the little mole on his nose under the skin, which was amazing. You didn't have to include that, but they did. The red marks down his eyes, the headband, they're all the red all around his headband. The hair detail's amazing as well, kind of going all around him in a ponytail. And I think they did so well. They even got the scroll on his back, the flip-flops, everything down with this pop. I really love this pop, and it's so freaking cool. Now, the only things I can really see wrong with this pop is, one, on the actual box art here, they do have the Toad sticking out its tongue, and it's not accurate to the actual pop in there. Unfortunately, I don't know why they kind of did that. I think that was really weird. As well as, guys, is the price point is really high on this one, so it's not exactly easy to get and easy to find. And then the last thing being, it is in a 6-inch form, so displaying it is a little bit more kind of annoying because it's a bigger pop, so it takes up more space. But other than that, it's not really lacking any details, and it's a really, really cool pop for the Naruto set. And taking the number 1 spot on our top 10 Naruto Funko Pops of 2021, I'm sure you guys knew where this one was going. Naruto versus Sasuke, or Sasuke versus Naruto, the anime moment, GameStop exclusive. This thing's incredible in itself. Literally one of the best anime moments out. One of the best moments out, personally, out of all of them, if I had to pick. But the detail on this is freaking crazy. First of all, you have Chidori versus Rasengan there. You have Naruto's beat up eye, the scuff marks all over Sasuke, him breaking the wall. Just breaking the wall there. I don't know if you guys can kind of see that, but him breaking the wall from lifting off of it. It's phenomenal. The detail on this is phenomenal. The water, they even got the little leaf. That is just cool. That's just a really cool detail they decided to include. And they have the wave of all the, the explosive power of them pushing the water back in there as well. This is incredible. This is literally one of the best Naruto pops that they have out to date. But I truly do feel like so far this is going to take the number 1 spot every single time unless they make like another crazy freaking moment. But I don't see them doing that for a while. So for now, I really feel like this should be number 1 on everybody's list. Now, a few honorable mentions that didn't quite make the list, but were really, really awesome. One being Itachi. So Itachi Uchiha, while he's a really, really cool pop and I like what they did with him, the detail just isn't all the way there. There's so many other moments they could have made, like him versus Sasuke. They could have made him all kind of bloodied up and like blood coming down from his eyes and kind of like with his fingers like this. Like there's so many other moments they could have done, but they just did him with a kunai and like in a jutsu pose. While it's really cool, it's just in terms of detail, it's not all the way there. Unless it was like a glow variant, then it might have maybe took the spot over pain. Who knows? But for the most part, guys, I feel like Itachi just was lacking detail. But he's a very awesome character and a very popular character. As well as, guys, on the list, we did have Sage Mode Naruto. So Sage Mode Naruto, that would have been my personal choice for this list, but I didn't want to be too biased, so I didn't include him. In terms of detail, he's amazing. He really is. They got the Sage, they got the, markings under his eyes for Sage. They got the big scroll in the back, and it's really awesome. But in terms of detail to some of the other pops, they had more detail other than him being kind of simplistic in terms of pops. But if they do make another Sage Mode Naruto in the future, there's so much they could do, and it's going to be really awesome to see what they do. Another one we had, guys, was Rock Lee. So Rock Lee was really awesome as well. They have him in an action kicking pose, and they even put the shininess that they have in the anime over on his hair, and I thought that was an incredible detail. Not enough to make it in this list, but in terms of detail, he is really, really cool, and he definitely did come close to being on the list. Another honorable mention, guys, we had was Gaara. Gaara is an incredible pop with the sand all surrounding him, and even using it as a base stand, which I thought was cool. But in terms of detail, it's just kind of, you expect Gaara to have his sand. If maybe they did him using one of his jutsus, like his sand jutsus, that would have been really cool. But in terms of detail, it just wasn't enough to make it on the list in my personal opinion, and I didn't see a lot of people mention Gaara in terms of detail, you know, compared to the other pops, so I decided not to include him. But he is really, really awesome. And the last honorable mention I wanted to include, guys, was Shikamaru. Shikamaru using his shadow stitching jutsu I thought was really cool, and even making the shadow as a base stand for him was incredible in detail, and I really, really do like that pop. Again, not enough to make the list, but a cool honorable mention. Alright guys, so that was your top 10 Naruto Funko Pop list of 2021. I would love to know down below, did you guys agree with this list? Did you guys disagree? What would you put on your list? I would love to know. But top 10, it was really difficult to do because there's so many great characters and so many great choices, but for the most part, guys, I feel like this was a solid list, but I'd love to hear your opinions down below. Anyways, guys, that's pretty much it for this video. I want to say a huge shout out to my Patreon supporters. Thank you guys so much for supporting me and supporting the channel. I really do appreciate you guys. And if you guys want to check out the Patreon, the link is always down below, as well as, guys, make sure to be following my social medias, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok, all at Skittlerampage. And that's pretty much it. I love you guys. See you guys in the next one. See you guys later. Bye.